Hello, everyone. I'm Cheldin Barlett-Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm a little spoiled when I get to hang out with my dear friend. I'd love for him to reintroduce himself, his first and last name, and all he's up to.
Cheldin, I'm Louis Bezich, men's health advocate, contributing writer to phillyvoice.com, and of course, the author of Crack the Code, 10 Proven Secrets that Motivate Healthy Behavior and Inspire Fulfillment in Men Over 50. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We were ships in the night in Phoenix, Arizona. We both went out there to cheer on the Philadelphia Eagles, and now we're back in the swing of things, and I'm so excited to have you here. I know that we're going to be talking about something really important, at least to me. What is on the topic? What is on the agenda for today?
Well, on the agenda today is courage. Yes, courage led by a 50-plus man who is breaking the mold when it comes to healthy behavior.
Tell me.
Yes. I'm talking about Senator John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, who recently announced that he was going to get treatment for depression.
Right.
Now, why is that a big deal? Well, Fetterman comes from the world of politics, where admitting that you've got a medical problem, let alone mental illness, is, something that's unprecedented. But he, again, is breaking the mold and stepping out, and I think really exhibiting some leadership. So that's really significant. I think what even adds to the importance of Fetterman's announcement is the context right now in this country when it comes to mental illness. 90% of Americans believe that we have a mental health crisis on our hands.
We do.
And tons of people have indicated that they've experienced some form of mental illness or witnessed it in their own family. So we've got, public sentiment, and we've got some evidence, scientific research that proves we're heading in the wrong direction. So I believe that any leadership, particularly from elected officials, is really super important. Again, even more important to me as a 50-plus advocate to see one of our guys taking the lead here. So it's so significant, I think, in the evolution of our culture, and a sign that we are changing our culture. Little steps, but this is really a big step in my judgment.
I agree. And even thinking about it, typically in these particular high profile situations, this is a hush hush thing, right? We're going to do our best to make sure that nobody knows, not only of the physical ailments that he's been coming off of, which probably leads to the depression as it relates. I mean, there's a lot going on in that space that from a political standpoint or from a celebrity standpoint, you choose to keep that behind closed doors. And in doing so, a lot of general public think that they have to do the same, right? They don't find courageous leadership. And so what happens is that they feel like they need to keep it to themselves. And often when we do that, it ends up being far too late when we actually need the help or we actually need to go seek additional guidance. So I think it's really interesting to see the choice that he's making, that his team is making, to be really honest in what it is that he is going through. So is the suggestion that those gentlemen and those ladies and those folks that are listening and watching, do their best to be courageous, to be able to be honest about what's going on with them mentally or physically?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What Fetterman's action tells us is that we're slowly moving away from this outdated definition of manhood or masculinity that says, don't admit that you've got any type of a problem, let alone a mental problem, that's a sign of weakness, right? He's suggesting, and, I would also point out that, he's gotten bipartisan support and acknowledgement for the courageousness of his move. So I think that it's again a sign that things are changing. You and I have talked recently about the same thing happening in another world, in another culture, where you don't want to acknowledge weakness, and that's the field of sports and professional sports.
For sure.
Here in Philadelphia, Lane Johnson a year ago acknowledged his own bout with depression, took a few games off. We've had another former Philadelphia Eagle, Malcolm Jenkins and Brian Dawkins acknowledged that they've had bouts with depression and have now, in fact, become advocates for mental health amongst young people. So again, politics, sports, areas where you've never seen anyone acknowledge mental health problems now coming forward. And I think that's indicative of culture change, which is, music to my ears.
Music to my ears. And I think so often we are, especially in the athletic space, if I haven't something wrong with my ankle, I can talk about it. Even if I have a concussion, I can talk about it. But my goodness, if I'm talking about mental health, if I'm talking about how I bring myself to the game, to the field, to the court, I don't want anyone to know that there's any kind of weakness or discrepancy in it, and I keep it to myself. But again, as public figures, as leaders, as people in which we all look up to or look to, it's really important that they begin to have these conversations. Not everybody's going to be as courageous as those that you mentioned, but I think we're grateful for those that are.
And finally, I think what you're going to see now is, because of this acceptance, here's the ultimate play, Cheldin, is fathers, conveying to their sons that it's okay to acknowledge a problem. And we got to stop this insanity of transmitting this outdated view of masculinity from one generation to the next. If we can get to that point, then we're really making progress.
Right. And I always say I can't help what I don't know, right? I can't fix what I don't know. I can't support what I don't know, right? And I think that, being in that space, but it is hereditary. It's like, my dad didn't talk about it. My pop-up didn't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. And you just suffer in silence. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
think that's ultimately what this whole thing leads to.
Yeah. No, I love that. So you're not only courageous in body, you need to be courageous in mind, and you need to use all of that in order to tell people what's going on with you. So not only you can help yourself, but you can help others. Louis, it's so good. You are always so good. You always get us started in the right direction. I want to make sure that so many people know how to get in touch with you. You're doing such great work with your current book, with the new book that's coming out. So I want to make sure that people know how to find you. Where would be the best place for them to do so?
As it says over my shoulder, 50plusmen.com. You can find out what's going on in my world, learn more about men's health, and get connected up in everything we're doing.
I love it. I love it. I promise you will not be disappointed. He never lets me down. You need to follow, fan, and like our dear friend. From all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Cheldin Barlett-Rimmer, and we will see you soon. Take care.